It's time to watch him for the first time. And here we have, spawning down in the bottom left-hand side of the map, it is TaeJa. And his opponent managed to take down an old Korean Terran in the last Afreeca world. It is SortOf. SortOf managed to beat Fantasy. Forgive me as my keycap falls off there. There we go, that's better. I apologize about that. So, SortOf managed to beat Fantasy 3-2. So, he's got experience taking down old Koreans. The question is, what form did TaeJa come back in? How's he gonna play? Are we gonna get a game in which he's streaming bio across the map? I'm not sure. But, we'll see what SortOf's gonna do. It is the map Lost and Found, so a pretty standard map. They can go to that sort of 3-4 base situation. Some late game maps have been played out on this too, so we'll just have to wait and see what sort of build TaeJa's going to come out with. I mean, StarCraft 2 has changed a lot since TaeJa last played this game. I mean, Cyclones weren't as big of a factor. He played in Legacy of the Void, so Cyclones weren't around, but Cyclones weren't completely relied upon. Neither were Liberators and things, to my knowledge. I mean, they were around, but players have really figured out how to utilize these units, and TaeJa's been back for a while. He tried to qualify for the last GSL, didn't quite make it, but the fact that he made it decently far is a statement on its own, so he has to be playing at some high level. The question is, what level? Is he up to date on the builds and everything? Reaper Expand, pretty standard stuff so far. We'll see. What's he going to follow it up with, though? Looks like it's going to be a factory from the positioning of this, and it is, so possibly that 3cc Hellion could be a Hellbat all-in. SortOf's got to be wondering, what is TaeJa going to go for in this day and age? I mean, SortOf is one of those good European Zergs, though, so he's got to be thinking, all right, I'll just try and play my standard style, that sort of Zerg catch-all styles. Zerg players have really mastered that art of just playing it safe, getting to the eventual tech that you want. Reaper comes in for TaeJa here. Gonna start working away on some of these lings. Queen will eventually pop to save this, though. No major damage being done. Not even getting a ling, so TaeJa not quite getting what he wants yet. Ling speed on the way for SortOf. A starport's on the way as well. Hellions are going to be being produced here. Starport on the way. So we'll just have to wait and see. A tech lab is being started, so it could be a Banshee play out of TaeJa. I mean, that is a unit he's certainly familiar with. Or it could be for Stim. Yeah, it looks like it will be for a Banshee. Could always be for a Raven. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, TaeJa has got to have looked around and been like, alright, what are people doing these days? What's everyone been up to while I've been in the military? It is a Banshee on the way. It is Cloak, so it can be pretty standard stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a third CC start relatively soon after all this, and then eventually into that bio parade push. That's a build. Looks like a build that's been around for quite a while. Now, Ling speed on the way for SortOf, so eventually those counterattacks will be able to start. But TaeJa does have the Hellions to establish himself out on the map. We'll likely see another supply depot, and then I wouldn't be surprised if it's a CC to plug that hole. Could be something else, though. Stim going to be starting as well for TaeJa relatively soon. So these Hellions looking to try and find something here. TaeJa sharking about for now. Reaper going to dive into the main base wanting to try and get some information, but does not commit there. Queen spreading creep for SortOf. He's playing very defensive, not making a massive amount of drones, just trying to be prepared for everything at this point. The Banshee is coming in. Cloak isn't quite done. A Spore is starting, but not at the third base, not at the natural. The Spore is in the main base. So this Banshee will eventually be able to get something done. Going to pick off a Creep Tumor to start things off, and as long as he doesn't go to the main base, he should be able to get a good amount of damage done. TaeJa's going to come on in. He'll see the building Spore Crawler now, and this is where he can go to town on these drones. Just has to survive a second to get Cloak, and there we go. He now has Cloak. He can now pick off a lot more workers. So SortOf already taking a fair bit of damage here. There is a Spore done in the main base. It's been repositioned as well. So now this Banshee already gotten 5 workers done. Hellion's coming into the third base, and SortOf is not prepared for this. Lings do come in to intercept it, though. So the Hellion's not getting anything significant done, and TaeJa actually backs out, not diving for those drones or anything. Another Banshee is on the way, but here we go. SortOf's really poking and prodding now. These cloaked Banshees for TaeJa. Now beginning to work on these units. Another drone goes down. Banshees, 2 of them, can one-shot drones. And TaeJa, a player with very good control, gonna be able to pick off a drone or 2 here. Or actually, no. Good micro by SortOf, keeping these back. But back at home, TaeJa not skipping a beat. 3rd CC is up there. He's now teching up. We have double upgrades on the way, and he's in a decent situation. 5 drones is a pretty good amount, but he's been keeping the pressure on, not allowing SortOf just to focus on that macro play. Hellion's going to want to pull back, and I think we may be eventually hitting that sort of parade push coming out of TaeJa eventually. Hellion's going to want to dive on out of there. So TaeJa making a small mistake there, losing. Actually, all of these Hellions needs to react there. Literally just one of them gets out of there, so that's a bit rough. SortOf now droning up. He's got his own 1-1 on the way. Mines are on the way for TaeJa. So no tank play or anything like that. SortOf is a guy who does like his Hydras as well. Three Banshees are actually out for TaeJa, interestingly enough. One of them's very weak, though. Hydralisk Den on the way for SortOf here. So he is going to be trying to reach that stage, and the fact that TaeJa is making mines is a little bit concerning. This isn't Lingbane Muta he's going to be up against. You will eventually need tanks to deal with this. He's got his armory on the way. He's locking down that 3rd base, but whether he's going to be able to push into this Lingbane Hydra is going to be a different question. He will have 1-1, but so will SortOf. He's making a Marauder or 2, but we'll just have to see what TaeJa is going to be able to get done. He's heading towards his 4th base. This is what he set his sights on. Creep Tumors being picked off, Mines getting settled. The Banshees with Cloak are going to be able to start working on this. However, there is an Overseer now, so these Banshees will have to pull back. This bio it's not a massive amount of bio. There is the mines. TaeJa's going to have to lift off and get out of there. One Widow Mine goes off. Another one gets baited out expertly by SortOf. A Medivac actually goes down. Marine's going to unload in the main base. Banshees are going to be able to come on in. However, the Queens will be able to lend their support here. TaeJa trying to abuse this position, but now Hydras are out. So SortOf actually going to clean this up. Very well done. Banshee's going to be picking off Banelings. Nice focus fire from TaeJa there, picking off a Hydra, or not quite, mortally wounding a Hydra. A few drones going down, but looking at this, TaeJa not getting the damage done that he wanted, and he's continuing on with this Medivac Marine. And not making any more mines just yet, but you do need tanks, or you need to drop expertly to pull your opponent apart when they're playing this style. Mine is going to be burrowing there. TaeJa's coming in once again. There's not that much for SortOf, mainly a lack of Banelings here. Widowmine's going to detonate on a lot of these units, so the Ling count is really being thinned out right now. We've got these Marines stimming forward. The Queens are standing strong as a buffer for now. TaeJa kiting back and forth. There's not a critical mass of Hydras or anything just yet. He needs to be careful of friendly fire on those mines, but so far SortOf's been thinned out a fair bit, and TaeJa is stimming forward. He's picking off an Overlord, denying creep. Mines are shuffling forward right now. The 4th base is under a lot of fire here. SortOf's going to come on in. He's going to try and break this, but not fighting into the best angle. The bio very stim for TaeJa, but he's got a good count of Medivacs right now, and the 4th base goes down. SortOf is forced back. He really needs to consolidate. He's got a 5th base started that's not been seen, but TaeJa's likely going for blood right now. He's kiting back. He's going to have to split these Marines, and he's doing so expertly there. Doesn't take too much damage there. Now he's going to be pushing in once again. TaeJa getting some good damage done. He started his 4th base back at home. He's just continuing on with his production, even getting vehicle armor while at it. I guess he's really dedicating, wants to keep his Medivacs alive. Gonna pick off some more creep right now. Just keeping SortOf on his toes there, gonna boost on out. Now TaeJa, interestingly enough, is pulling back. I mean, he got the 4th base, maybe just deciding that's enough to get damage done. And he actually scouts out the 5th base, kind of accidentally there. He needs to be wary of those Hydras, though. But he may have his new target as TaeJa's looking to move in, and this is a large chunk of bio. He's doubling the supply of SortOf. He's going to have 2-2 finishing up relatively soon. So will SortOf, though. There's not quite enough Hydras or Banes here, and it looks like that this 5th base is going to be forfeit from SortOf. A few drones may actually get caught out. That's a bit unfortunate for SortOf. And no, SortOf's actually going to try and save this now. TaeJa lifting up, but he's got this massive amount of bio here. Oh, the Widow Mine hit! Getting so much damage done there. How many kills did that mine? Or only 5. Looked like it got more, but I think a few of those were Banelings. Now TaeJa coming in once again. He doesn't want to overcommit right now. He's going to kite back these Marines, but doing it so well. The Banelings not quite finding their connections. TaeJa just absorbing that army, and with that, it looks like he's going to be taking the first game. SortOf's army is just not enough. He's going to be losing his 5th or 4th, whatever you want to call it at this point. His army is gone. TaeJa takes the first game. All right, the big question is, what form was TaeJa in? And he did not forget how to play bio. I mean, no tanks? No, I'm not making tanks versus this. I ain't changing. Just playing so well. Just that's the expertise we see from old TaeJa, it looks like. So second map is going to be Dreamcatcher. Very well played by TaeJa there. Now, SortOf, though, I mean, give him another 30 seconds to solidify, and that game could have gone completely different if he got just enough Hydras up, just enough Banes, and suddenly Lingbane Hydra can be very good versus bio, even with mines. So we are getting into the next map, which is going to be Dreamcatcher. And keep in mind, the winner of this series goes to play versus SortOf, or Solar, pardon me. Regardless of who it is, it will be a good one. Alrighty, both these guys are ready. We're loading in. Thanks to everyone for tuning on into this tournament. Make sure to leave a 1-up for the stream. Leave a follow or a favorite. Then you can follow me on Twitter as well, at LaughNgamez and whatnot. And big thanks to Afreeca for putting on these tournaments so we can have a guy like TaeJa coming back once again. Spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map. Looking good, looking like the old days. It is TaeJa. And spawning down in the bottom right-hand side of the map. The Swedish Zerg. It is SortOf. So we'll just have to see what this game's going to look like. I mean, Dreamcatcher can be pretty similar. We'll have to see if SortOf's going to try and change his play a little bit there. Maybe he'll try and go for more Ling run buys or something like that. I mean, the Ling run buys have become more and more prevalent, so it would be good to see how TaeJa manages to deal with them. Spawning pool first for SortOf, though. I mean, not a super aggressive one. This wasn't a 12 pool. This was like a 14 or a 15 pool, it looks like. So, gonna be trying to catch TaeJa off guard. TaeJa did not SCV scout, though. So, we'll just have to see what he does with his Reaper. He went right across the map with it, so he could actually be caught off guard by this play. We'll just have to wait and see what TaeJa is gonna go for. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Reaper expand into bio push 3rd CC. Like we'd see a lot from TaeJa back in the day. Now, SortOf is getting up that hatchery. It's not like this is an all-in with this early pool. This is just make the 6-lings, run them across the map, cancel or delay your opponent's 3rd CC. If TaeJa moves out with his Reaper, it will likely be a cancel on this CC and could possibly just win the game for SortOf. We'll have to wait and see. TaeJa, wouldn't be surprised if we see that factory going to be coming up relatively soon here. No barracks or anything, I don't think, unless he goes for something like a 2-1-1. Starting a Marine, though. So TaeJa is going to be playing it safe, wanting to shoo away Overlords, wanting to be able to be safe from this. I mean, the 6-lings is still a scary number. He will have to pull SCVs to deal with this. But the Marine will be there. The Reaper's going to be coming across the map. TaeJa, the second the Reaper hits, is the second the Lings are going to be diving into his natural. Now he's going to have to react to this. SCV already pulled. Now we'll have to see, is TaeJa going to pull SCVs to help with this? He's pulling 3 or 4. All right, he's going to have 5 SCVs in the Marine. The Reaper is on its way back. Now he's just going to have to micro this perfectly. One SCV gets caught, not pulled back there. A few more. 2 SCVs have gone down so far. Sort of getting some nice damage done there. He does get the 2 SCVs. I don't think he'll get another, though. So 2 SCVs denying the 3rd CC. That Reaper heading out already, though. TaeJa letting that roam free. Oh, no, this Ling can deny that. Reaper comes back to clean that up. There we are. So sort of getting generally what you want with this build. Throws your opponent off of it. I mean, that was kind of like the best, or it was like a pretty average way that sort of wanted it to play out. Like, best case scenario, he gets another SCV or 2. Or that TaeJa didn't go for the Marine and was playing incredibly greedy, but TaeJa was playing it relatively safe, but still the 3rd base was, or the natural base was delayed a little bit. And then now we'll just have to see how this game is going to evolve. Looks like we could be seeing that Banshee once again for TaeJa. I mean, he got a good bit of damage done. It really taxed sort of there with his multitasking. Hellions and Reaper now going to be able to poke and prod, maybe pick off a creep tumor or 2. Have to wait and see. If TaeJa can get that creep tumor, it would be nice. It's relatively exposed here. See a grenade go down. He is going to get the creep tumor. Nicely done. Taking a bit of damage on the Hellion, but denying any bit of creep is always very nice. Sort of got speed on the way, popping out another queen or 2. Now from TaeJa on his side of the map, he's actually gone for an armory this game. So that is a pretty big deal. Cloak Banshee is seen by this Overlord. The Marine was actually killed off there, so nothing to shoot away. Another Marine going to be on the way. Stim going to be on the way pretty soon after, I imagine, and then the 3rd CC. So TaeJa going for the exact same build, well, without the armory. This time he's gone for the armory, so he's going to be going for a bit more of a direct push. It's going to be a Hellbat Banshee timing. Trying to bruise up these queens. Any bit you do to them earlier on can really help out. Banshee coming on into the main base. Cloak not quite done. Banshee gonna engage this queen and actually get out of there. So not the best control there from TaeJa. I mean, not really sure what he wanted to do with that Banshee once he saw the Spore. Now there's these Hellions out, so they will be able to transform into Hellbats. And currently it's looking like just a lot of queens out of SortOf. And here come the Hellbats. There's no Overseer, so the Banshee being used as a direct damage line here. A few drones going to get picked off already. 3 drones going down so far. The Banshee doing a good job just adding damage to this. The Hellbats diving on in. It's just Lings for SortOf. TaeJa shredding those Lings. And now drones are going to start falling. There's nothing to answer the Banshee. There's an Overseer, but it seemed to be out of position. 5 drones have gone down so far. A good chunk of units is here as well. TaeJa not getting anything else. Transforms the Hellion so it can chase these units down, sort of forced to run these drones. A lot of mining time being denied, but it looks like that this will eventually be cleaned up. Banshee heading towards the 3rd base. Will TaeJa micro it? He actually parked it in the perfect spot. So some more drones going to go down. 9 so far. Where's that Overseer gone? There it is, in the main base. So the Banshee will be able to get out. Can actually pick off that creep tumor. Nicely done. So TaeJa 10 drones, pretty decent damage, but he has his 3rd CC up. He's got his follow-up. I mean, he delayed his follow-up a little bit by throwing in the armory as opposed to the last game, but 10 drones is pretty decent damage. However, sort of getting right back on track, macroing up. So I'd say this is a pretty even game at this point. We'll just have to see how it's going to move forward, what TaeJa can get done with future moves out. It will be a while before he has a good chunk of bio to move out with, and this time TaeJa is going for tanks. Dreamcatcher is a very good tank map. 1-1 on the way for both players. 3rd CC moving out for TaeJa. Not afraid to go secure that. Sort of getting up his 4th base. TaeJa just got his production on the way. So TaeJa is going to be behind a little bit. I mean, he's only at 50 workers, just getting up his 3rd base now. The real question is, will he be able to get any damage done? The 2 Banshees coming in will be able to pick off a creep tumor. Nicely done. Denying that is actually pretty nice. Oh, he doesn't quite get that one. Oh, look at that. It gets the detection off. Banshees engaging those queens, but a transfuse. They're not going to be able to take that fight. Sort of getting up a Hydralisk Den, getting up that macro hatchery, and he may be hitting a hitting that Lingbane Hydra, but a lot stronger this game. TaeJa, though, he's got tanks this time. Gonna be moving on out at some point, and he's actually going for it right now. Combat Shield 1-1 gonna be on the way. SortOf is gonna have a pretty decent chunk of units here. I think he made a fair few lings. He's got some Banelings as well. The Hydra's popping out. If they pop out in time, that'll be the thing that really seals the deal. The Hellbat or two will be nice in this army. Marines moving forward. There's a scan for TaeJa, so he will be able to clean up this creep, which is very nice. Siege tanks in position now, and this is Dreamcatcher for you. 2 queens gonna go down. Rock's gonna get picked off as well, so no surround's gonna be coming out of SortOf, and it looks like TaeJa maybe moving towards that 4th base, or the 3rd base, pardon me. Creep being picked off. TaeJa gonna want to be careful with these tanks. Gonna want to get those sieged up before SortOf pounces on him. SortOf could be having an opportunity right now, and he's actually gonna be going for it. These tanks are sieged a little bit too late. Reinforcements for TaeJa are coming in though, but they're a little bit misrallied there. And now TaeJa's being forced back. It looks like SortOf gonna be able to clean this up. TaeJa not kiting back quite well enough, and there's just enough for SortOf here that he will force this back. TaeJa's got a few more Marines coming in that could make the difference here, but no. SortOf, nicely done. TaeJa, a little bit too ambitious there, and SortOf with that killer's instinct managing to pounce on that. Baneling counterattack coming in. Marines will be in position to deal with this, though. They will save that. I mean, a lot of Banelings used on that wall. And now TaeJa, he's not in the best situation right now. He's on 73 workers. He's on 3 bases. I think he'll have to throw up a 4th at some point, and there it is, starting just now. As he realized he didn't get the damage done, and this is where SortOf's going to be hitting his stride this game. He's getting up into this tech with his 4th base up. I mean, he's got this large Lingbane Hydra count. However, Dreamcatcher can be a pretty good map for Terran. We'll see if SortOf's going to go for Hive or if he's going to try and break TaeJa at some point. Sensor tower on the way. Siege tanks being produced by TaeJa. 2 tanks at a time, which is very important for him. +1 at vehicle weapons would be nice to see as well. SortOf looks like he's planning potential counterattacks later on. A tank is in position, but may need more than just a tank to defend from this. TaeJa poking out. Wants to deny the creep, as SortOf, not wasting any time, is really covering this map and creep. TaeJa gonna move forward, clean up a tumor or 2. Gonna want to get on out of there, but now look at this. SortOf, he's got units all out on the map looking to punish TaeJa whenever the opportunity arises. 2-2 is on the way for both of these guys, though. No sign of Hive for SortOf just yet. I don't want to see him stay on Lingbane Hydra for too long, because eventually mass tanks is very effective. TaeJa gonna have to get on out of there. Siege tanks getting into position. Oh, TaeJa actually losing that full medivac. That's a lot of supply, and these tanks actually get caught out. TaeJa losing like 2 or 3 tanks there. So far he's lost 5 this game. And now here comes that counterattack. The siege tank's in position, but the Banelings are staggered behind us. They're going to deal with that. And now TaeJa's going to have to pull these SCVs. The tank focus fires the Banes, and he does react in time. But losing that wall, and he's going to have to rebuild that. It's not cheap for him. TaeJa does have his 4th base on the way now, so as long as he gets that secured, he will have a lot more time in this game. However, SortOf may not be giving TaeJa the time of day. 20 Banelings on the way, a swell of Hydras and Lings as well. TaeJa's planning for the longer game. SortOf not planning on letting him get there. The planetary will be very huge, though, for defending a potential attack. There's a sensor tower on one side. TaeJa's planning a drop as well while this goes on, or actually he's looking for these units. Will he be paying attention? He needs to be stimming to deal with this. He's going to kite back versus the Banes. Trying to stagger those Marines, but SortOf's microing them too well. And now TaeJa's going to have to lift up and get on out of there. These guys, both of them playing so well. TaeJa needs to be careful. Having to take the long way around. Now he's going to have to move down to react, losing these depots once again. TaeJa gonna want to unload these Marines. Baneling's rolling into his mineral line, not pulling the SCVs, so he's already lost 12, 14. That number's going up. 17 workers have died so far. This drop is moving in for a potential counterattack, but TaeJa taking a fair bit of damage there. Spire now on the way for SortOf. TaeJa is actually going to be moving out, but not sure if this is a big intentional move out. I mean, his tanks aren't coming with him, and he will need tanks to get on in here and attack his opponent. TaeJa's moving in, he's stimming forward with this army, gonna clean up some creep, but SortOf's in position and TaeJa needs to pull back. He cannot engage this army in this current state. Drop being found here. TaeJa gonna have to lift off if he wants to keep these units alive. Loses the full medevac right as he loads it up. SortOf is just playing very crisply this game. And TaeJa hasn't really hit his stride so far. SortOf's just playing so solid. Now he did eventually get that hive. He's got that A Viper on the way for now. Or actually, he's already got multiple done. Greater Spire on the way. 3-3 on the way. Ghosts are out for TaeJa, or they will be popping out now. So that is going to be nice for him. However, he's going to have to be very careful here. Taking the 5th base on this map is going to be very tough for the Terran player. He's going to need a very good siege tank count. Ghosts, TaeJa is a player, I mean, Ghosts have been around in StarCraft a long time. We'll see how he's going to use them in their current form. Viper's coming on in here for SortOf, though. We'll see if he abducts some of these tanks, and he will. Ghosts need to be in position to start sniping off these units. But TaeJa's busy dealing with a counterattack. 10 SCVs have gone down once again. He's taken losses. 10 Corruptors on the way. Eventually Broodlords will be out, and TaeJa will need an answer to that, but I'm not sure he's going to have it. He's continuously dropping, trying to find something, but SortOf's got so much creep spread out on the map. He's happy on his 5 bases. He's trying to secure a 6th, whereas TaeJa's been repeatedly forced off his 3rd. TaeJa's building up a high ghost count. Ghosts can deal with Broodlords, but it's always a little finicky trying to deal with mass Broodlords with just ghosts. Medevac gets abducted, SortOf finding any value that he can. SortOf a very good player with those Vipers. A drop makes it into the natural base. Not going to find too much done, though. Maybe you're going to be able to pick off a Corruptor or two. These Marines will go down. Pathogen Glands is on the way as well. A good counter to those Ghosts. Hard to get close when you're getting fungled. TaeJa moving in, wanting to clean up some creep, but this army is right in position. Medevac goes down. Ghosts are going to eventually want to be blanketing those snipes. Picking off the Vipers would be huge. Eventually he's going to have to deal with the Broodlords. TaeJa's making another planetary. He's securing his 5th base. It's very tough to do. TaeJa sees these Vipers. His opponent's now moving in, but he's not microing back this bio. Abduct's going down on this army. TaeJa going for a few snipes, but he lost a lot of his army there. And now there's Broodlords out. He's eventually going to have to deal with. He lost a Ghost or two. He sees the Broodlords. Ghosts are going to be able to get snipes out, but Broodlord, Bane, Hydra, Viper is going to be very tough. I think he got an EMP off on those Vipers. But it's still going to be very tough for TaeJa to hold on. How many Ghosts does he have? He's got 10 right now. He's got 2 more on the way. So he's going to be up against 7 Broodlords, I think, but more are popping out. So 8. It's going to be 10 Broodlords versus 10 Ghosts. You need like double the Ghosts per the Broodlords, or you really need to deal with the ground army. And I'm not sure if SortOf's going to give TaeJa that opportunity. Full Medevac goes down. TaeJa's just been losing a lot of resources here. Snipe's going down, picking off an Overseer or two, but he needs a lot of value with this. SortOf's not going in just yet. He's showing an incredible amount of patience. He's getting up just a good chunk of Infestors. Look at this. He's already building Spore Crawlers. He's planning for the late game. I guess he knows his situation and he's preparing for it. I mean, maybe he's afraid that he'd lose the game if he threw it, or he's just getting up these spores to aid with the push. Bio coming on in. Now there's pretty much every caster here for the Zerg. Queens, Vipers, Infestors. Good chunk of Ghosts for TaeJa. He can't afford to get Fungal Growth though. Now I mean, these Ghosts could engage over this cliff maybe. We'll have to see what TaeJa's going to go for. Tank's not very effective versus this. Now there's not many Corruptors for SortOf, so the Vikings could be effective. TaeJa moving forward. Look at that Infestor. He knows what he wants. Infestor goes down. Overseer pops. So we could be heading into a very late game here. TaeJa's eventually going to need to get a 6th space, and that's really going to be the problem for him. SortOf setting up spores already. Vikings out will help greatly when it comes to dealing with these Broodlords. fungal growth going down. EMP is landing on some of the infestors, but not enough of them. These ghosts are in a very precarious position. Parasitic bomb goes down. TaeJa landing that Viking, making sure to keep it alive. Ghosts need to be careful. I mean, TaeJa's got a good bank right now, but the question is, how do you deal with this army that's so close to your front door? A Zerg that really has access to everything. TaeJa, I mean, look at the creep, guys. If we look at SortOf's vision, he sees everything. SortOf was trying to secure a 6th base down in the bottom left. It's not really mining, but eventually TaeJa wants that base. So he says, no, you can't have that, SortOf. A lot of ghosts are out, and they... Oh, the fungals can go down. A lot of those ghosts get caught. Some snipes go down, an EMP or two. The ghosts look like a good chunk of them actually do survive. Not too many of them die. That could have been a lot worse. And the EMP was pretty huge, but SortOf's pushing forward still. TaeJa trying to push his base, but there's actually still just a high count of Hydras here. Ghosts coming in to help with the fight. Actually pretty good versus Hydras, versus that light. Now TaeJa's pushing in, but these Broodlords may be coming in from the south. TaeJa will get this base, which is pretty nice. He does need to deal with the creep tumors as well. But I'm actually pretty surprised, guys, that TaeJa's still alive. I mean, Broodlords have been on his door for a long time. SortOf showing a lot of respect to TaeJa here. And TaeJa may actually just be going for it right now. Gets a few snipes off on these Broodlords. The Bio trying to get underneath some of them. More snipes going down. TaeJa splitting these ghosts very well. Most of the Broodlords have gone down right now. However, I'm not sure if TaeJa has enough. These Hydras and Lings that are now connecting with the army are maybe going to make the difference. TaeJa's forced back. He's lost pretty much all his ghosts. There's only 2 Broodlords left, but 2 more do pop. And TaeJa, he's got a decent bank. He's making as much as he can, but it's really tough to come back from a situation like this. SortOf playing very patiently. May just have taken the game right now. TaeJa can't land that other CC. These tanks getting caught out. The army supply just tells the story right now. This ball, supported by all these spore crawlers, these Broodlords, these Vipers, these Infestors. TaeJa just couldn't break it, and now it's literally separating his bases. TaeJa gonna have to repair this CC, but breaking this is gonna be a tall order. SCV is going to be long distance mining, it looks like. TaeJa dropping at this gold base. Looks like this drop will be cleaned up though, and these SCVs are going to have a very bad time. They need to turn around. GG gets called. SortOf says, SortOf making a statement there, showing so much respect to TaeJa, just not going in there. I mean, there's a chance SortOf could have ended that game, but there's a lot earlier, but yet he was confident enough just to say, you know, I can wait for this a bit. And he did, and he pushed forward, and eventually TaeJa ran out of options. TaeJa tried to take a very good fight there, but I guess he just didn't have enough. I mean, his overall supply, if he maybe just was completely maxed out when he tried that. Because he had the bank. So the third map is going to be Cerulean Fall. We'll get the players into this game. Making sure these players are ready on this game. Thanks to everyone for tuning in to Afreeca World. 419 of you. Clearly some of you guys want to see TaeJa play. And we're going to... This is a best of 5, guys. All right. Cerulean Fall, it's a bit of a bigger map, so we can have another long one here, but we are loading in. It's currently tied 1-1. Spawning up in the top right-hand side of the map, it is TaeJa. And his opponent spawning down in the bottom left-hand side of the map. It is SortOf. So, SortOf played very well that game. I mean, his defense was very good. The Hellbats for TaeJa maybe set him behind a little bit, but TaeJa was continuously looking for damage, and SortOf did not yield that game. And now we're going into the next one, so we'll see what TaeJa's going for. Reaper expand from the looks of it, sort of. Looks like he is getting up that base too. Alrighty. So, no major developments or anything just yet. We're just a minute into this game. I mean, sort of, we have not seen him cheese a lot. He's played, this is his third Afreeca World in a row. I mean, he's in Korea, so, I mean, if you guys want to go to Korea, if you're a pro player, you'll probably get invited to Afreeca World. Because putting Koreans versus foreigners is always so much fun to watch. Sort of a very solid player. And now he's tied up with TaeJa 1-1. So TaeJa sort of playing it very solid. And I mean, I was just about to say, he doesn't cheese too much. He's a very straightforward guy. I mean, he likes to macro up. I mean, he went for that like 16 pool in the previous game. And that caught TaeJa off guard a little bit. But it wasn't like major damage or anything like that. Now the Reaper coming out for TaeJa. So the dance begins. Reaper working away on these lings, sort of doing a good job using that high ground. Looks like we may get a ling there. Very well done by TaeJa. Actually may get 2 lings, that's pretty nice. Looking to get a drone as well, but sort of, he makes those lings in order to defend the precious drones, so they did just that. Reaper's seen the third base, so TaeJa's pretty aware of what's going on. He's liked his Banshees so far, and he ain't gonna change that just yet. Hellion's gonna be on the way, Banshee's gonna be on the way. We'll probably see a third base and then eventually a bio push. Reaper coming on in. Reaper and Hellions are now coupled up. TaeJa poking on those queens again. Banshee out once again. I imagine SortOf's expecting it at this point. This is a larger map, so it takes longer for the Banshee to get there. SortOf really liking his queens. Liking that creep spread. I mean, in a few minutes, I imagine he'll be pretty far out on the map with this creep spread. So TaeJa's going to do his best to deny it. But he is going to be going for that pretty standard third base stuff. Once again, that Marine going to work on this Overlord that's scouting everything. It will be sacked for this. But TaeJa, third CC on the way. So yeah, we are going to be having that macro game. And this is going to be a big one. I mean, the players aren't going to be as pressured as on Dreamcatcher. So if TaeJa ends up turtling again, it may go better for him. But, of course, as the Terran player, you generally want to be moving out, and I imagine TaeJa will be doing that. Now, Hellions are going to be getting on in. The Lings are in position, but drones pull back. Very well done by SortOf. Not going to be losing anything. Banshee coming on in. Doesn't look like it got anything there. So no kills for the Banshee. A second Banshee coming out makes it a lot easier to snipe drones, but looks like SortOf just reacted perfectly to that. Hellion's now sharking about. TaeJa did lose his Hellions in the first game. Which, so he needs to be paying attention to these. TaeJa, don't lose your Hellions. You need those. Now look at this, SortOf just spreading out creep. Non-stop. Banshee's coming on in. Here they are, they're coming into the natural. They were cloaked, so SortOf didn't see this coming. We've seen 4 drones pop right away. TaeJa coming on in. He's going to get another 2 drones. Very well done. So 6 drones have gone down. And that is significant damage with these Banshees at this point in the game. Banshees being forced away. Now TaeJa securing his 3rd base. Going to be macroing up. SCV got itself caught behind a depot there. 3rd base is on the way there. Hellion's still sharking out on the map. 1-1 on the way for both players. TaeJa does have an upgrade advantage, or his is going to be much quicker. Now TaeJa's going to be moving out with these Medivacs and Marines going to be dropping. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw SortOf go for a Spire on this map, but then again, it is he is a Zerg, so, or a European Zerg, I should say. Really like those Hydra Dens. Personal favorite of his. Now TaeJa trying to pick up Creep Tumor 2, needs to get out of there. Can't afford to lose any drops this early on. Hellion's maybe looking for something at some point. Eating a bit of damage on those Medivacs. Now TaeJa coming in. What looks like it could be a pretty strong push. Now, pushing into the middle of Cerulean Fall is very tough. If you go for one of the outlying bases, it's easier, but pushing in just... there is so much room for a Zerg surround on this map. So we'll just have to wait and see what TaeJa is going to go for. He's going to try and abuse these rocks, but SortOf didn't expand to this position, and this is probably the reason why. Now TaeJa's poking and prodding. I mean, if he can bait SortOf into a fight, it will go very well for him. He's going to pick off an Overlord. And so TaeJa not quite going to get what he wants, but a big Ling counterattack coming in. TaeJa does have a good number of Marines, though, to react to this. So he will force that back. He's going to have to complete that wall to make sure that doesn't happen again. TaeJa cleaning up creep, using the Banshees consistently to clean up creep. That's very cool to see. And clean up creep if you want to get damage done on a map like this is very important. Now, SortOf wasn't paying attention. He's not going to be able to start his upgrades there. It starts, but then gets sniped right away. SortOf immediately starts another Evo chamber, but it's not like +1 was being made there. So TaeJa maybe missing the window by like a second or so, but that's very good for SortOf that he didn't lose a critical upgrade. TaeJa will have an upgrade advantage, though, in the future because of picking that off. Now, SortOf maybe going to pull the trigger there, but decides against it. The Hellbats and the Marines. TaeJa was quite prepared for that attack. Now, SortOf is a 4-base Zerg, so he's sitting very comfortably. He's getting into these Hydras. He's getting up a good number of Banes. And he's done a good job replacing this creep. And now looking at this, it looks like that the fight's going to be happening. TaeJa's forced to lift off. He's going to want to unload those Marines again. SortOf not deciding to go completely on this, but TaeJa's main army is not here. A lot of his forces are back at home, so this force, I think, may be overstaying its welcome here, because it's possible that SortOf just pounces on this. Or SortOf maybe thinking a different thought, just going to focus a lot on a counterattack. There's tanks in position, though, for TaeJa. He can't see the army for SortOf, and now SortOf's coming on in. The tanks aren't quite in position. The stim bio will be here. Gonna intercept this. The Banelings crash forward. TaeJa gonna have to kite back here. Tanks are now set up. SCVs are gonna go down, though. Banelings roll forward. TaeJa lifts up some of his units. Over 20 SCVs fell there. He's got his 4th base on the way, so he's good on the number of bases. However, 20 SCVs is a very significant blow. He's gonna want to transfer workers right away in order to resaturate that 3rd base to the best of his ability. Now, TaeJa going to be poking on in. If he can bait SortOf into a bad fight, he can always turn this around. The players are equal on supply. He's currently up on upgrades and will be for the next significant amount of time. Queens are actually going to get caught out here. Nicely done by TaeJa. A bit of a mistake for SortOf there. There's pretty much nothing more annoying for Zerg than having to remake your creep queens 10 minutes into the game. Counterattack heading towards the 4th base. SCVs are just transferring, but SortOf is prepared to hit this hard. TaeJa gonna have to react very quickly if he wants to save this base. And now this base is under attack. He's forced to, I think he loses even more SCVs. He's down to 40 now. That was a pretty significant blow. And SortOf just pulling TaeJa around right now. TaeJa, I think, going to need to step up onto the drops once again if he wants to come back into this game, because he is definitely behind by now. The amount of SCV losses he's taken, it's just been a bit too much to really just muscle through. I mean, losing a few SCVs to counterattacks here and there, as long as you're doing damage yourself or as long as you're continuously producing, but TaeJa's wanted to get damage done, and now he's going to be falling behind a little bit. I mean, he's up on army supply still, but he's going to have to lift off and get out. He's got 3-3 on the way, so SortOf's tech isn't that high, but going for a big attack is going to be very tough for TaeJa, because how do you push in? SortOf's always ready to counterattack in this situation. A drop is planned for TaeJa, which is very good to see. I think I'd like to see a tank or two up at the 4th base for TaeJa, or a sensor tower. Oh, there is a sensor tower. Silly me, I was looking right at it. Creep gonna get cleaned up here by TaeJa. He's actually caught a little bit here. There's Hydras and Banes on both sides, and he needs to be microing this army. All the Banes actually get eaten through, so he's gonna be able to take that fight. However, now he's pulling back once more. Banes are rolling forward, SortOf maybe overextending here. TaeJa, with his heavily upgraded Marines here and with so much Medivac support, actually deals with that army rather quickly, and TaeJa's decided now or never. He's gonna be going for it. Moving in with a lot of units, and SortOf, he's spread his army so much to be in every position, to be ready for everything, but is he going to be consolidated to deal with a big attack like this? TaeJa's got his planetary up, and I mean, SortOf, he's planning a counterattack versus it, so he can't really do that, but now TaeJa may have overextended here. He's eating a lot of Banelings, he's kiting back, but I don't think he has enough. Tanks are coming in, but they were not there for the main fight. Now TaeJa, he's going to need to pick up these tanks, but you can't pick them up in the Medivacs that have been hit with Parasitic Bomb. Almost all the tanks go down to get out, but now SortOf's remaxing, and TaeJa's in a lot of trouble here. That attack did not go how he went. I mean, going in's good, but he was a little bit too gung-ho. Siege tanks firing on this, I mean, may be able to buy some time. Abduct goes down on one of the tanks, another one pops out. TaeJa's gonna try and hold on. He's microing back. I mean, he's got +3 attack versus this, but he's been transitioning to Ghost while this goes on. He's going to lose SCVs once more as these Banelings roll forward. Actually, I mean, only 4 have gone down, SortOf maybe overcommitting. I mean, TaeJa's down on army supply, but no, he taps out. He scans, he knows the Zerg, and GG gets called. And now suddenly we've got TaeJa on the ropes here, SortOf. Not letting TaeJa get into his groove. I mean, Surlin's a hard map to do Bio Parade push. So the next map's going to be Blue Shift, which is TaeJa's pick, which will be a better map for TaeJa. But either way, SortOf playing very well, playing very solid. We'll get these guys into the lobby once more, and the winner of this goes on to play Solar, who's waiting for them in the finals. The winner of this is going to have a tough opponent, but both these guys looking pretty good. SortOf playing very adaptive, though, reacting to really everything TaeJa throws at him, not giving TaeJa any room. It's just that wall. He's just that wall of a player. Thanks to everyone for tuning into this Afreeca world, though. It's been another great one here, and we do a lot of them, so make sure to leave a follow. And we are loading in now. Alrighty, Blue Shift. If TaeJa's going to come back, I think this may be the map to do it. It's a lot better for a Bio-Terran. But spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map, the recently returned Korean Terran. We'll see. If he brings this back, that would be a really good showing. I mean, he's playing at a high level, but whether he is quite there yet is the question. Spawning up the top right-hand side of the map, his opponent, SortOf, the Swedish Zerg, living and training in Korea. hasn't made it to the finals of an Afreeca World yet. He's going for that early pool once again. I was actually wondering if he's going to go for a cheese on a map like this, not let TaeJa hit his rhythm as easily. But TaeJa actually going for a CC first. Oh no, this isn't looking too good, guys. SortOf going for like a 16 pool, TaeJa going for a CC first. This isn't something that you do on Blue Shift, I don't think. I mean, this is pretty greedy out of TaeJa, and he's really going to get punished for it. The barracks is on the way now, but this is going to be rough. This is what you don't want. I mean, the Lings will take time to get across the map, but it's not that big of a map. An SCV is going to move out, so TaeJa will sort of have a heads up for this. As he's not going to be going for that Reaper, he's going for double gas behind this, so that's how you get the normal timed factory. So this is going to be rough for TaeJa. I mean, the Lings are on the production tab now. His barracks will be finishing up, so we'll probably have a Marine out by the time this hits. And we'll see. SortOf's going to try and catch this. TaeJa sees the 2 Zerglings. He's going to look for more. This is actually buying time with this SCV. SortOf dancing around. I mean, maybe trying to make TaeJa not react to this as quickly. TaeJa going for a Reaper. He's going to be keeping that back at home. But look at this. The CC actually finishes in time. I don't know my timing. Silly me. He doesn't have to worry about his CC being canceled. Just goes to show how much I go CC first on Blue Shift, guys. Now, 2 Lings moving across for SortOf comes... I mean, he's coming in from every angle here. And now he's going to converge. This Reaper will be popping out, but there's actually a hole in TaeJa's wall. I mean, SortOf's going to come in and see this and say, wait a second, that's a CC first. What a madman. So now TaeJa, his factory may be delayed a little bit. He starts a supply depot, but he will have to cancel that. Buys him a good bit of time, though. His reactor's being worked on, though. That's forced to be canceled. There's still 4 Lings in his base. He starts it once more. SortOf maybe going to go for the cancel once again. 2 SCVs have gone down so far. I mean, losing these 2 SCVs kind of... It's not a terrible situation, because keep in mind, guys, this was an early pool out of SortOf, and now TaeJa's got his CC done already. I mean, he was delayed a little bit. Having that supply depot canceled, having that reactor canceled was actually a pretty significant factor. So now it looks like SortOf is just going to try and macro out from this. I mean, he's getting up a... TaeJa's getting up a bunker behind this to be safe. He's making 2 Marines as well, so maybe TaeJa's going to be changing this up. He's going for a 3rd CC, going for a siege tank. He will be going for the Banshees. Never mind. He's not going for a siege tank. He just lifted that off. Where's that factory going? Is he going to make Hellions? No, he's not. Is he? Is he going to float that back over? Or he's just going to be starting a stim with his 3rd CC. So TaeJa is actually going to be playing it very passive this game. Going to be starting another barracks. Going to be starting a stim. So a fast 3rd CC, and this was a very quick 3rd CC. And looks like SortOf may actually scout this. The Reaper did go down on the other side of the map. TaeJa saw the 3rd base, but I mean, that's about it. Viking pops out. SortOf doesn't see the 3rd base. Now how he's going to react to this is the question. TaeJa double eBay on the way. So, TaeJa's not going to be in a bad spot economically. I mean, the Zerg can always macro up very quickly, though. So eventually the Terran will want to hit a precise timing or to whittle the Zerg down. And looks like TaeJa will be opting for that precise timing with the 3rd CC. And when I say precise timing, it's more just like you flick a switch and it's like, all right, it's time to attack. Viking needs to be careful, but it's actually going to go down to those Queens. A pretty significant loss for TaeJa. Not going to have that to push Overlords back. SortOf securing these watchtowers, spreading his creep. He wants that vision. 1-1 on the way for both players. Stim for TaeJa, 3rd CC on the way. It is going to be mines on the way for TaeJa as well. Now, well, we'll just have to wait and see what he's going to be able to get done this game. I mean, Blue Shift is a good map. Might be a better map for siege tanks, so we'll just have to wait and see. Lair on the way for sort of Baneling Nest back at home. He sees this. I see a question in chat. Is this the last game? No, after this, Solar will be playing the winner, so there will be a best of 7 after this. Ling comes in, sees the third base. Gonna harass. Marines coming though. Now this army's unloading. There's no Banelings here for SortOf just yet, so it looks like his 4th base will be cancelled. TaeJa gonna take this fight. Gonna have to lift up as he's very surrounded there. Now gonna unload. TaeJa continuing on with his production. He's getting more and more up. Gonna try and deny a bit of creep here. We'll do that. If he fights just the Lings, or he may be able to snipe a Baneling or two, but the Queens are now here, so TaeJa gets a Baneling or two, gonna have to get out of there. Nicely done. So, working away on his opponent there. More barracks going up, so TaeJa going up to 8 barracks here. And now SortOf knows that the push is on the way. This wall isn't complete, so he needs to be wary of that, because here comes a Ling counterattack. TaeJa, you want to complete that wall? Okay, here comes in the SCV. Build that wall. There you go. Now here comes TaeJa. He's pushing on the front lines, but it's tough to push when there's a counterattack coming in. He SortOf actually pulled off that counterattack. He wants everything here to defend. And there's a fair bit of Zerg right now, but these guys are equal on supply, they're equal on upgrades, so it's really going to come down to their micro and their control. Mine's going to want to shuffle forward. TaeJa's got his reinforcements coming in. SCV will actually scout this Ling counterattack, so that's important. Now, is TaeJa going to be able to manage all this that's going on, though? This Ling counterattack's testing him. SCVs are pulled to repair this wall. They know if that wall falls, they're going to be in trouble. SortOf rallying forward, trying to bait out these mines. TaeJa kiting back to the best of his ability, not quite getting surrounded there, slipping away from his opponent. Now SortOf overextending a little bit, but the third base for TaeJa has been cracked. Marine's now going to be fighting these these Lings. SCV is going to want to rebuild that wall, but now TaeJa's moving forward, but he's forced to lift off. He's got a chunk of bile coming in, and he's actually diving into the main base, but this is pretty desperate from TaeJa, and he's actually landing right on a Spore Crawler. Queens are going to be working away on these medivacs. He needs to be so careful. He can't lose that medivac, but he does. And now TaeJa down in supply. He's got his 2-2 on the way, but SortOf's a Zerg who's secured his 4th base. And he's planning a counterattack from the looks of it. TaeJa's going to need to be ready to deal with this. Mines are sieged up. TaeJa unloading the rest of his army. I mean, TaeJa is not in a horrible situation. His attack failed, yes, but it's not like he took massive critical damage. Or massive counter damage, pardon me. But SortOf is now a Zerg who's solidified. TaeJa will have a 2-2 window, though, briefly, versus maybe a 2-1 Zerg. But it's going to be tough. No 4th base has been made for TaeJa either. Creep's being cleaned up, but SortOf's so meticulous with replacing this, it's very tough. And now we see a counterattack coming in. Banelings didn't even need to detonate because that wall was never raised. And now these Lings, TaeJa's reacting, but those SCVs need to mineral walk back home. TaeJa's dealing with this, but SortOf planning counterattack after counterattack. And this is where he's being pinned once again. TaeJa's in a lot of trouble. I mean, he's just sort of getting pulled apart by SortOf. TaeJa reacting with that drop. But SortOf's pressing TaeJa on all 3 fronts. I mean, down the middle, up north. And now we're seeing a potential Ling counterattack. Look at those mines, though! So a good chunk of those Lings get picked off, but some of them did make it into the natural. Wall's not raised. So Lings are in the main base now, too. So it's looking pretty rough for TaeJa. He's just getting pulled apart. Baneling's going to roll forward. He's up on supply, though. I mean, SortOf's macro maybe slipping a little bit. As I say that, he starts a big swell of Hydras. But 8 SCVs going down for TaeJa. There need to be some units out to deal with this, and TaeJa needs to get back on macroing up. Banelings morphing do get caught. Players are equal on army supply, so I think now TaeJa needs to go, but he's got just mines and bio versus Lingbane Hydra. It's going to be tough. Both these guys are on 2-2 now. 3-3 is on the way for TaeJa, but that's probably not going to be a factor in this game if I had to guess. Banelings morphed into his base. 8 SCVs go down. TaeJa now down to 39. Dropping below 40 is not a good sign for Terran, and I wouldn't be surprised if SortOf just comes in with a massive surround right now. SortOf's consolidating a bit. He doesn't have too many banelings. 19 are morphing, but they're not quite there yet. So here comes TaeJa. He's going in, but actually pushing in is going to be tough. He doesn't have a scan, and he is standing on creep. So this Zerg is going to collapse. And look at this. TaeJa is completely clumped up. He needs to pre-split this army if he's going to go for it. You can split, but I mean, I don't know if you can split that quick to deal with this. As SortOf's pulling the trigger from multiple angles. TaeJa's kiting back, but these are banelings on creep. His splits are not enough. GG gets called. SortOf is going to advance to the finals.